God is power, infinite, irresistible, inexorable, indifferent. And yet, God is pliable, trickster, teacher, chaos, clay. God exists to be shaped. God is change. From the Book of the Living, Octavia E. Butler. Change is us. Writings to the Earthseed verses. God is change, is inevitable, the natural following of crisis. This crisis we are in requires love, and love manifested is change. Oakland is changing, but where is love in the tent cities sprouting up like wildflowers, tattered in the wind, tattered people, frayed at the edges, resilient? People who breathe, parent, hunger, dream, deserve to travel, eat at restaurants, have a safe place to rest their heads, as we all do. Where is God in these changing landscapes? Our own society's greed, ejecting our own neighbors, and we hold tight, knowing our foundations are temporary, gone in a flash. Amid catastrophic change, we are an ark balanced on the edge of a crumbling cliff. Our air is dense with invisible particulates that lodge in our lungs. Though fires are natural and necessary, we caused the chaos. All change is not equal. Consider change that is transformative, emergent, and collective, new conceptions of what it is to show up for one another. We have molded God, but in a way that destroys ourselves. And what about that which resists change? Eyes burning, we witness police brutality, detainment and deportation, the measuring and diminishing of people by their tongues, the color of their skin, the origins of their passports. Ever since the forced establishment of this nation built over burial grounds, we hear the cries of the murdered, enslaved, displaced, feel them push through our own lungs. Spirits haunt our dreams, asking why. We still oil the machinery of systems built long ago. Racism and white supremacy seem unchangeable, or at least stubborn, parasitic, poisoning the root. How can we plant a seed that is untainted? Lauren Oya Olamina believed, we are destined to take root in the stars. Storms. In the beginning, some said we were all in the same boat, but others of us argued we are in different kinds of boats, thrashing about in the same sea storm, the storm that took away some of our parents, aunties, friends, and icons, that distanced us, required masks and tests and vaccines, exposed global inequities, and put at risk people working the front lines. What kind of lifeboat are you in? Do you cling to its edges, the water splashing in, holes gaping in its hull, or do you rest easily on a massive cruise ship, all your needs tended to? Some of us may be swimming with only a life vest or nothing at all. My feet are wet as the storm creeps in. My son nestles in my embrace as the storm billows. Fires. We may hide behind walls, but they will be penetrated. Burning walls, we cannot breathe. Walls, burning behind the walls, burning within the walls, but still we hide behind walls. Burning behind, burning within, we need a vessel of water. Trees. Destruction leads to reconstruction. After a fire, plants begin to sprout, eventually a new forest. Trees are concerned about their descendants, sending messages and nutrients to protect their young growing in their understory. Have we forgotten how to sustain life? Trees do not live as individual organisms, though humans behave as though we can. See how they spread roots deep and wide, providing shelter, fruit, and shade. Note the messages they send via webs underfoot. Trees live in symbiosis, and so must we. My son. Will he need to be vigilant, a warrior on watch? What can I do so that he can trust that the forest holds him precious? Spirit is strong in him, fuerte, malakas, he is fearless, charming strangers, maybe even when he shouldn't. Raising a brown boy alone in these woods means that the very things he is, his language, the darkness of his skin, his curly hair, are both his beauty and his vulnerability. This world parses out those whose accents are not American and whose bodies are not white as other, inferior, exotic. This world categorizes us, even changing how we think about ourselves. Planting seeds to take root, whether here or in the stars, is to plant confidence, to instill in our children that they are worthy of being the main characters of the story. We split our own tongues into many and call back the forces of erasure. In this way, we shape destiny. In this way, we shape God. What can we learn from our children? Everything. When my son asks me to open an orange, I pull back the peel, expose the flesh, clear away sinews, check for seeds. But when I part the fruit, he pleads for me to put it back together. Ciérralo, he cries, asking me to fix what I've broken, to make it whole again. What have we destroyed that we leave our children to put back together? What divisions do we make that burden the young? We must change now. They deserve more than a broken inheritance. Despite believing they take us away from our work, children are our greatest collaborators. They mold us just as we mold them. I hold my son close today as he approaches the brink of boyhood, no longer baby. He clings back knowing these times will be no more. Curls bouncing, he is a wild, glorious mix of Filipino, Cuban, Spanish, African. Many stands over generations of resilience. He corrects my Spanish, his first, my second tongue, asks questions I do not know the answers to, and each day I find them. He molds me just as I mold him. See him run in expanding circles, growing smaller and smaller in the distance. Then he returns to me. I provide shelter and source, while he provides every reason to believe.